Okay, so we've already talked about indentured servitude, right? In the early days, a lot of these women came as indentured servants. It says here, many women came in those early years as indentured servants, often teenaged girls, and lived lives not much different from slaves, except that the term of service had an end. They were to be obedient to masters and mistresses. It says here, the authors of America's Working Women describe the situation as, they were poorly paid and often treated rudely and harshly, deprived of good food and privacy. Of course, these terrible conditions provoked resistance, living in separate families without much contact with others in their position. Indentured servants had one primary path of resistance open to them: passive resistance, trying to do as little work as possible and to create difficulties for their masters and mistresses. Of course, the masters and mistresses did not interpret it that way, but saw the difficult behavior of their servants as soullessness, laziness, malevolence, and stupidity. For instance, the General Court of Connecticut in 1645 ordered that a certain Susan C., for her rebellious carriage toward her mistress, to be sent to the House of Correction and be kept to hard labor and a coarse diet, to be brought forth the next lecture day to be publicly corrected, and so to be corrected weekly until order be given to the contrary. Sexual abuse of masters against servant girls became a commonplace. The court records of Virginia and other colonies show masters brought into court for this, so we can assume that these were especially flagrant cases. Abuse of women has been baked into what it means to be a part of a civilized society. And I'm fucking tired of it. I don't understand how men don't realize that if women are oppressed, nothing is gonna work. Nothing is gonna work sustainably, and it's gonna eventually fail. A society cannot function when women are fucking oppressed, when they don't have choices, when they're being abused. How is that not obvious by now? How is that not obvious by now? It's incensing. Like, I'm speaking like this because if I start to really speak how I want to, then I'm gonna have a whole bunch of men in the comments saying that I need to chill and that why am I so mad and all that shit. I can't even express my anger the way that I want to all the time because I'm constantly thinking about trying to get the message across to men in a way that they will listen without them trying to use my emotion against me. This shit is fucking nuts. It says in 1756, Elizabeth Spriggs wrote to her father about her servitude. What we unfortunate English people suffer here is beyond the probability you in England to conceive. Let it suffice that I, one of the unhappy number, am toiling almost day and night, and very often in the horse's druggery, with only this comfort that you bitch, you do not half enough, and then tied up and whipped to that degree that you'd not serve an animal, scarce anything but Indian corn and salt to eat, and that even begrudged, nay, many Negroes are better used, almost naked, no shoes nor stockings to wear. What rest we can get is to wrap ourselves in a blanket and lie upon the ground. She's like, I'm living in hell. And the black people, they're even living in worse hell. Whatever horrors can be imagined in the transport of black slaves to America must be multiplied for black women, who were often 1/3 of the cargo. We're going to get into something that a slave trader reported in the next video. Take a deep breath throughout the series. Take a deep breath throughout this chapter, especially if you are a woman, especially if you are a black woman, because it's just really tough. So yeah, let's move on to the next video.